Aboriginal. Long before European arrival, Aboriginal communities constructed shelters suited to local conditions. Designs varied widely, from simple bark or brush shelters in temperate zones, to windbreaks, domed huts of spinifex, or frameworks of branches covered with grass mats. Though typically not permanent in the Western sense, these structures reflected an intimate understanding of the land and seasons. Early Colonial. Beginning around 1788, British settlers built simple, symmetrical homes often influenced by Georgian ideas. Typically 1 or 2 rooms deep, constructed of stone or brick, they featured hipped roofs and minimal ornamentation. Larger examples might include central hallways and fan lights over doors, reminiscent of English country homes but adapted to the colony's climate and materials. Verandas soon appeared to provide shade and shelter. Regency. As the colony prospered, more refined houses in the Regency style appeared, especially in coastal towns like Sydney and Hobart. Facades displayed balanced proportions, slender columns or pilasters, and gently pitched roofs. Iron lacework on verandas and large multi-paned windows further lightened the exteriors. Interiors began to show higher ceilings and decorative plasterwork, reflecting an evolving urban elegance. Victorian. With the Gold Rush era came wealth, fueling the rise of ornate Victorian styles. Houses might be Italianate with bracketed eaves, Gothic-inspired with pointed arches, or a filigree style featuring cast-iron lace. Decorative parapets, bay windows, and verandas trimmed with elaborate iron or timber fretwork were common in city terraces. Interiors showcased high ceilings, polished floorboards, and decorative plaster cornices. The overall look was bold, heavily ornamented, and aspirational. Queenslander. In the tropical and subtropical climate of Queensland, houses were elevated on stumps for airflow and flood protection. Timber frames with deep verandas, often wrapping around multiple sides, kept interiors shaded. Decorative balustrades, latticework, and external stairs added character. Interiors stayed airy, favoring breezeways and high ceilings. The Queenslander remains an iconic silhouette in northern Australia, bridging colonial influences and local climatic needs. Workers' Cottage. Found in the 19th and early 20th centuries, particularly in expanding city suburbs, workers' cottages were small, single-fronted houses built close together. Materials ranged from weatherboard to brick. Roofs were typically corrugated iron, while front verandas offered simple shelter. Interiors might include just a few rooms in a row. Despite limited space and ornamentation, these houses filled the need for more affordable urban housing. Federation. Often seen as Australia's own architectural statement, Federation style arrived around the time of the nation's federation in 1901. Drawing on Queen Anne and Edwardian influences, houses commonly featured gabled roofs clad in terracotta tiles, ornate timber fretwork, and lead-light windows. Front verandas were essential, sometimes with decorative timber arches or turned posts. Interiors might boast pressed metal ceilings and stained glass. Federation set a more local identity than purely British derivations. Californian Bungalow. Imported from the United States, the Californian Bungalow quickly became popular in Australian suburbs. Single-story with low-pitched gabled roofs and a prominent front porch or veranda, they embraced simpler lines than Victorian designs. Timber weatherboard or brick exteriors often showed wide eaves and exposed rafters. Interiors tended to include open living dining spaces, built-in cabinetry, and a more relaxed floor plan. This practical style flourished until the Depression era. Spanish Mission. Around the same interwar period, wealthy suburban areas saw Spanish mission houses with stucco walls, arches, and terracotta roofs. Mediterranean, Tudor Revival, and even Art Deco touches emerged in some suburbs. Interiors might mix decorative plaster, wrought iron lighting, or stylized timber details. These styles catered to homeowners seeking exotic, romantic themes that evoked Europe or Hollywood glamour. Fibro Cottage. With a housing shortage after the war, fibro, asbestos cement sheeting, became a cheap, lightweight material for fast construction. Small rectangular layouts typically had corrugated iron roofs and timber window frames. Interiors were basic and quickly assembled, reflecting the urgent demand for budget family homes. Many fibro houses later underwent renovations or cladding replacements as asbestos awareness grew. War service homes. Following World War II, the government helped returned soldiers build single-story brick veneer or weatherboard homes. These war service homes had practical layouts, shallow pitched roofs, and modest architectural detail. Around the same time, project builders rose, standardizing designs and marketing them en masse in growing suburbs. This laid the groundwork for modern volume builders. Mid-century modern. Architects like Harry Seidler introduced European modernism with open plans, floor-to-ceiling glass, and flat or skillion roofs. Materials included brick, timber, and later concrete. Interiors championed built-in furnishings, indoor-outdoor flow, and a focus on sunshine. This style thrived in leafy suburbs, bridging Australian casual living with international modernist ideals. Triple-fronted brick veneer. One of the most common suburban forms, the triple-fronted brick veneer boasted a low-pitched tile roof and a layout that placed the main living areas at the front. Decorative stone or tiled accents might appear around the porch or columns. Interiors remained straightforward, often featuring polished hardwood floors and simple plaster cornices. Many older suburbs still display rows of these unassuming yet solid family homes. Queensland Contemporary. Evolving from traditional Queenslanders, these contemporary designs kept the high-set approach, but swapped out heavy ornament for simpler lines. Open underhouse carports or storage areas replaced the old stumps. Timber exteriors might give way to brick at ground level. Interiors featured open-plan living, large windows, and minimal decorative details, adapting the tropical features to modern suburbia. Postmodern. Some suburban estates embraced historical references, mock Georgian, Tudor, or Mediterranean style, on modern footprints. Bright pastel render, arched windows, or faux parapets sometimes mixed with a double garage out front. Interiors had open-plan kitchens, family rooms, and flashy features like sunken lounges or spiral staircases. Though often criticized for superficial ornament, they captured the era's interest in playful revivals. McMansions. Volume builders offered large, multi-gabled homes with double-height entrances, mixing elements from Federation, Tuscan, or French provincial. Often built on narrow blocks, they maximized floor space with multiple living zones, home theaters, and oversized garages. Critics lamented the jumble of borrowed motifs, while buyers enjoyed ample room and a prestigious facade. Contemporary sustainable. Rising environmental awareness spurred designs that prioritize cross-ventilation, solar access, rainwater tanks, and eco-friendly materials like rammed earth or sustainably harvested timber. Interiors favor open layouts, low-toxicity finishes, and abundant natural light. Architects incorporate shading devices, green roofs, and solar panels, reflecting an Australian take on global green building trends. Coastal. In seaside regions, beach homes adapt to salt air and dunes, often built on stumps or piers with open living that connects to decks or verandas for ocean views. Timber weatherboards, corrugated metal roofs, and breezy interiors define a relaxed indoor-outdoor lifestyle. Interiors typically use light colors and robust materials to handle sand, sun, and moisture. Modern farmhouse. Inspired partly by American influences yet adjusted for Australian countryside life, these homes blend barn-like silhouettes with contemporary amenities. Interiors often have vaulted ceilings with exposed trusses, wide verandas, and open-plan kitchens. Materials might include steel cladding or weatherboard siding. The style suits rural or semi-rural living, but can appear in new suburban estates as well. Tiny homes. A small but growing category sees Australians experimenting with downsized living or fast-assembled modular pods. Often featuring trailer-based tiny homes or container conversions, these dwellings leverage clever interior solutions like loft beds, fold-away furniture, and solar power. Rising property prices and environmental concerns make this style increasingly appealing. Sydney School. Developed in the 1960s, the Sydney School evolved as an informal offshoot of modernism that embraced Australia's bush settings and steep terrains. Houses often featured dark brick or stained timber exteriors that merged with surrounding gum trees, while large windows maximized natural light and views. Interiors might have split-level layouts, exposed rafters, and slate or tile floors. Designers placed a strong emphasis on integrating buildings into the site, creating a distinctly local modern style that stood apart from purely international trends. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Are there any styles that I missed? Let me know down below.